If you're stuck with inconsistent revenue, a big headache with your sales team, then it's time for you to actually get some A players in and get elite reps into your play. Now the problem here is that elite sales reps, they don't just go with anyone, they don't just go with any company. They're very, very picky and they're very, very selective with who they want to work with. And since you want to scale your business, it's best to get them on your side. How do I know? Well, I've been consistently top closer for huge names out there in the space, collected over the past year and a half, multiple millions in terms of cash. So in today's video, I'm just going to give you a step-by-step guide on what I looked for when I applied for a company, when a company applied for me, so on and so forth. Now the benefits of having elite reps, first of all, are fairly simple. Most importantly, you have less need for management. You don't need to whip people in order to actually do their job. You don't need to motivate them to do their job. They are doing their job because they want to do it, because they're good at it, because that's their craft, that's what they want to perfect. And those are the people who are not chasing commission checks, they're not chasing massive amounts of money, they're chasing perfection. And a commission check is just part of that. Now what's gonna happen when you have your normal team, your normal sales team versus a team of A players is there's very distinct differences. Most importantly, the biggest difference is consistency. Is consistency in terms of lead generation, is consistency in terms of cash collection, is consistency in terms of revenue, is consistency in terms of the conversion rate, so on and so forth. You basically remove the element of the classic sales slump or the classic rut that most reps go through. Because at the end of the day, the difference between elite and average is that average doesn't understand how to stay in the exact state. Average doesn't understand how to be consistent. Average doesn't understand how to actually perform on a prolonged period of time. So that also eliminates the necessity for you to hire every 2 or 3 months and get some new sales reps into their positions. Most importantly, what the whole effect of that is that you as a business owner, you can focus on tasks that actually drive the business forward. You don't spend your time chasing your reps, you don't spending your time on sales calls. If even, God forbid, that you're on your own sales calls, then you probably should just turn off the video because that's not for you. But most importantly, you as the business owner, you can actually drive the business forward. You can actually work on strategy, you can work on implementation, operations, rather than being stuck in the day-to-day tasks of selling and managing your own people. And I think it's pretty established that A players will up your business and will massively drive you forward. I mean, that's why big companies like Apple, Microsoft, so on and so forth hire only quality talent, because at the end of the day, those are the people who are going to drive the business forward, who are going to take care of the task so you can focus on something else. But the question now is, how do you actually get A players? And before that, what are the requirements for those elite sales reps when they actually need to come into your business? And I always like to give the analogy to the coaching businesses, to the agencies that I coach or that I support on their growth to journey. You can imagine it as if you're planting a seed. If you're planting a seed of grass, pretty average, will grow on any soil. It will grow in mud, it will grow on a dirty track, it will grow when gravel is mixed with, so on and so forth. It will grow in acidic, it will grow in basic. It doesn't really matter. Grass will grow anywhere. However, if you want to get elite sales reps, you can imagine them as being a rose, for example. A very extraordinary type of plant. Roses, they do not grow in average soil. They do not grow on the side of the pavement. They need special soil, they need a special foundation in order to actually be implanted and for them to flourish. Otherwise, they're just not gonna even show up at the first place. They're not even gonna sprout. However, that doesn't mean that your business needs to be perfect. Elite sales reps, you can imagine them as sort of as Navy SEALs. They will perform in any area. They will perform in any scenario. They will perform in any business. However, in order to first of all attract them, you need to have the right business. Because trust me, as someone who has walked through multiple different industries, who has applied for multiple different jobs, who's basically been top closer in multiple different offers, we know exactly what we're looking for. And if you don't meet the requirements, we will not even jump onto an interview call with you. And the most important factor that we are looking for as sales reps, as someone who actually knows what he's doing, because he has that experience, is consistency. Consistency in terms of lead flow. So how many leads do you get in? How do their stats look like? If you've got 100 leads that you reach out to per day, for example, and only 2 book in a call with you, then that's a bit of a red flag for us. So also on the back end of that is having the right operations, having the right systems set up, having the right automations, most importantly. That was what I looked out for at the last couple of companies, is how are their systems positioned? Do they have automations in place to make my life easier as a sales rep, so I don't need to focus on being an admin? I can focus on actually closing the deal and pushing the business forward and making revenue. The third pillar here is the leadership. how is your leadership position? Does your leadership give your reps enough freedom for them to actually master their craft and for them to actually build on top of what they already have? Let's say an elite closer comes into your business and you shove your pitch, your script, your area, your way of thinking, you shove that down their throat, they will not stick around for long. I can guarantee you that. Because every closer, every sales rep has a different approach, and you need to foster that in them because they've already been doing that for the past 2-3 years. You cannot change them anymore. So they will naturally have that intrinsic resistance to you, to your leadership, which means that you need to have good leadership in place so they can actually prosper, they have that freedom, they can be autonomous, they can actually work on their own behalf, and you don't need to chase them all the time. Because trust me, that person will be self-motivated. However, you need to give them that freedom and not micromanage. Once you have those 3 pillars set up, which is automation, you've got automation set in place that take the pressure, or not the pressure, that take the tasks off the rep's plate. You have the second approach, which is the lead flow. A lot of leads are coming in, you can actually manage them, you can actually distribute them to the reps, and they are actually going to be able to speak to someone, plus also your funnel is intact. And the third one, leadership. Once you have all those 3, it's time to take a look at how do you actually find them. Now this one is probably the most tricky aspect. If you've thought that so far this is a lot of work, trust me, finding those people is a lot harder. Usually, in the best case scenario, they will find you. If you've got a good business, if you've got a good offer, if you've got good systems and a good reputation that you actually don't scam your customers, those people will find you. Trust me, they know. We are in talks, we have a huge network as well, so we know what's working, what's not, and which offer is good, which is not. However, there's different approaches that you can do as well. One solution that a lot of people have seen success in terms of hiring, basically attracting top talent, not only in the sales space, but also in other aspects like fulfillment, VA, so on and so forth, is having a person brand. Your person brand stands massively, because essentially what that means for rep, just for their thinking, if you have a person brand and the leads come through that, those leads are a lot warmer, plus also they can actually reach you. They see what you do on YouTube, on Instagram, so on and so forth, so they naturally want to work with you. Now that person brand is already going to give you a massive head start in front of your competition. If you haven't got that, the second best way to go about this is your network, right? Those people that you already know, ask around, see who has some talent, see if you have any connections to closers that might be good, jump on a call with them. Most likely, if you are an agency owner or if you are a coaching business owner, you will have some form of network. So definitely just attack that and see if you can make something happen through that way. I've seen ads. Ads are a okay thing. Ads are a pretty solid thing to do. And depending on the outcome that you want to achieve with this, it might not even be a good ROI for you. However, if you do run ads, which can work as well, do not be pushy. Do not play the alpha wolf, do not play the alpha player and be like, hey, if you're gonna come into my business, you're gonna make 20, 50,000 in a month. We know the industry average, we know the industry standard, we know that this is bullshit. Now, if you don't have a network, if you have not seen any results from a person brand, there's a third way, which is you hire someone to do this for you. Whether that is us, what we do at our company is we take you through literally a whole automation process. We make sure to set up the right systems for you, set up the right lead flow for you, so at the end of the day, you can actually foster those A players. And once you have that foundation set in place and the rows can actually grow, we're gonna take the elite reps from a network that we know, implant them into your business, and essentially make sure that you can maximize your revenue. If you'd like to have a chat with my co-founder and I, you can book yourself a call down in the description, first link. However, what you can also do is you can go out there, go into school communities, ask around. Obviously, it's a lot more of a tedious process where you're going to have to do a lot of work in order to actually get someone placed and get someone in your company. However, the ROI on that is if it takes you 10, 20, 30, 40 hours to actually get a rep placed, which then makes you consistently 200K a month, that's a pretty good deal, if you ask me. So I would take that deal. So I hope that gave you a bit of an understanding in terms of how you can go about this, what you need in terms of A players, and essentially how you can foster that relationship and how you can actually initiate the contact. If this has been helpful, feel free to give me some feedback with the like or dislike button. Both feedback is massively appreciated. Otherwise, you can book yourself a call, first in the description with me and my team, if you'd like us to give you a bit of an analysis on what you're doing right now, where we could help, and essentially how that would look like. Otherwise, I wish you a good rest of your day. I'll catch you very soon. Cheers.